When I reflect on the conversations that I'm having around the country with our dynamic mid-sized companies, there are two or three issues which seem to be front of mind. First of all is the growth agenda, and within the growth agenda, increasingly mergers and acquisitions. What is strategic M&A? What resources do they need to pull it off? What does due diligence look like? How do you finance those M&A transactions? Should they be domestic? Should they be international? Should they be within the current industry sector? Should they be diversifying into other businesses that align with their industry sector? This whole growth through M&A is a huge topic. Secondly, regulation. And this maze of regulation that exists, it creates uncertainty, it creates confusion, it creates complexity. These dynamic mid-sized companies need help navigating their way through this maze of complexity of regulation. And that is a big issue that they're grappling with today. And of course, taxes would be an important part of that too, and the uncertainty that's created around the possibility of tax reform or tax deductions and policy not being extended. So these are the topics that we're talking to with our clients on a regular basis, and they consistently come up every time we sit down with these dynamic mid-sized companies and talk to C-suite executives. So at Grant Thornton, we believe there are a number of things that could help create a more positive environment for economic growth, particularly for dynamic mid-sized businesses. Firstly, we would advocate for reducing the uncertainty and complexity in the regulatory environment. Comprehensive tax reform is an opportunity to do that, and we are strong advocates for a more competitive, less complex, stable tax code that will create an environment that will allow dynamic mid-sized organizations to flourish. Secondly, we think there's greater opportunity to open up the capital markets again for emerging growth, small and mid-sized companies. The small IPO has just dried up. 80% of IPOs under $50 million in the 1990s, now well less than 20% under $50 million. Emerging growth dynamic organizations need access to the public capital markets. The Jobs Act is a start in helping to provide an improved environment. We think that there's more that policymakers can do, particularly around the structure of the capital markets, to make it a more inviting investment environment for smaller and medium-sized emerging growth companies to flourish in the public company capital markets. One of the areas of focus is growing into international markets. We've seen a significant trend over the last 5 years in particular where these dynamic organizations are seeking international markets. They often lack experience, they often lack resources, and they often look at it through the lens of a US organization, which is understandable because that has been their experience. At Grant Thornton, we are a global organization. We're 30,000 people in 100 countries. Certainly my career has reflected that, working with Grant Thornton in Europe, China, and the United States. And so we're in a great position to sit down and have a strategic conversation with our clients about what it means to enter international markets. Not all international markets are the same. What are the most strategic markets? What are the barriers? What are the best structures to pursue? What are the financing options? What's the cost benefit? What are the cultural issues? What are the language issues? Many things that they often haven't thought about or considered. And we have the benefit of our own experience as a global organization, but also the experience of many, many dynamic mid-sized clients that we've helped expand into international markets. Clients are not always as focused on what's happening in overseas markets and the impact on the US economy and their business here in the United States. There's a lot of headlines about the euro and the Greece and the potential collapse of the euro, but we try to help our clients look through that and say, what are the real business issues here? Well, the real business issues revolve around the fact that the European Union is the largest economy in the world as a collective economy, and it's in recession with the exception of Germany, which is still growing. The rest of the European Union is in recession. You have major countries like Italy. A recent Grant Thornton survey showed that 25% of businesses in Italy thought their revenues would decline in the next 12 months. In Spain, same survey, 28% of executives in Spain say that they're going to cut their workforce in the next 12 months. This is the type of leading indicator that demonstrates that we're going to see probably a deepening recession in Europe, irrespective of what happens to the policy issues around the euro. And that is going to have an impact in different ways on dynamic mid-sized businesses here in the United States, irrespective of whether they're exporting or currently engaged in those marketplaces. And those are the sorts of conversations that we think it's important to be having at the C-suite level. We would include conversations around trends in China and India, which have become increasingly important economies for our dynamic mid-sized clients, and the changes in policy, the changes in politics, the changes in those economies that are taking place, which again have a direct impact whether or not those businesses are active in those countries or not. Well, we're a global organization at Grant Thornton. We're over 30,000 people in 100 countries, and we can provide for our clients that seamless global service around the world. But we are focused very much on not being the biggest firm, but being the best firm. We want to be the best firm serving our chosen markets, and we have chosen the dynamic mid-market space to be the market that we can demonstrate a value proposition that's different to our competitors by having a strong industry focus, by having a significant, experienced client service team led by a partner who's going to be very engaged with really working with our clients to help unlock their potential for growth and bringing value in our services. And of course, by being focused on quality. The quality has to be and is the foundation of everything that we do at Grant Thornton. Well, one of the great advantages of being a Grant Thornton client is the opportunity to network with other owners and leaders and C-suite executives from dynamic mid-sized organizations. And we try and facilitate that at Grant Thornton both informally through our relationships across our client base, through our industry initiatives, and also through forums like our growth forums, which we conduct around the country, where we actually bring C-suite executives in from our dynamic mid-sized companies, and we spend a day with them with an outside facilitator drilling down on the issues and opportunities and challenges that they face. And what's interesting is, even from different industries and from different sectors, a lot of the same common challenges are being faced by these C-suite executives, and they tell us they get huge value from being able to network, exchange views, and learn from each other. And of course, as the facilitator at Grant Thornton, we also get to learn from the benefit of participating in those discussions.